Hello, and welcome back to the Personal Finance Workbench. Today, we will be discussing the inflation trap. Inflation is a trap. It eats away at the value of our money. Even when inflation is relatively low, it is consistently eating away at the value of our money, every day. Why does this matter? Well, let's look at some examples. Let's say that we have a friend named Earth. Way back in the year 1955, Earth's great-grandmother had put $20 in a jar. Then, great-grandma forgot about it. Yesterday, Earth found the jar in a cabinet in great-grandma's house. Quick, how much is it worth? Yeah, that's a trick question. $20 in bills or coins from 1955 is still worth $20. But here's the kicker. Back in 1955, Earth's great-grandmother could have used that $20 to buy stuff. For instance, in 1955, $20 could buy 75 gallons of gasoline. Today, Earth could also use those $20 to buy gasoline. But because of inflation and other factors, the purchasing power of the money has been reduced. In 2019, those $20 can only buy about 7 gallons of gasoline. $20 won't even fill up the gas tank of Earth's car. The loss in purchasing power from 75 gallons to 7 gallons is real. Inflation is a trap. Now, if Earth's great-grandmother had instead decided to invest the $20, things could have gone differently. Maybe it would have gone up in value, maybe it would have gone down in value. Maybe great-grandma could have put the $20 into a savings account to earn interest. It probably wouldn't have earned enough interest to keep up with inflation, and the interest that it earned would probably be taxable. Still, if the $20 had been invested in an insured bank account from 1955 until today, it would probably be worth more than just $20. So storing money in a jar, or under a rock, or in a mattress, exposes that money to inflation risk. The inflation trap is real. Earth works very hard and saves money. Earth keeps all of that money in cash. Earth has no money invested in the stock market or bonds or any other investments. Earth believes in cold, hard cash. This lets Earth sleep at night, knowing that the money is safe and will be there tomorrow morning. But this money strategy does have problems. One big problem is the inflation trap. Even if Earth keeps the money sealed in a jar or under a rock, inflation is eating away at the value of the money every day. Right now, in 2019, the inflation rate in the United States is running about 2%. Why should we care? Because the inflation trap robs us of buying power. Let's say that Earth puts $1 into a jar and waits a year. Next year, when the jar is opened, that dollar will only be worth 98 cents. The 2% inflation rate has reduced the purchasing power of that dollar by 2 cents. Okay, that's a pretty small loss. After all, 2 cents isn't a big problem. But inflation can be very, very problematic when we start talking about holding money over long periods of time, or if we talk about large sums of money. So let's change up our example. Instead of putting $1 in a jar for 1 year, let's say that Earth puts $1 in the jar and lets it sit there for 10 years. Over 10 years, the 2% inflation rate is compounding. When the jar is open 10 years later, the money in the jar will have lost 18% of its purchasing power. $1 worth of purchasing power went into the jar, but only 82 cents of purchasing power came out. And of course, there is no way for us to know what the inflation rate will really be in the future. If inflation goes up a lot, then the purchasing power of that dollar could go down even more over those 10 years. Inflation is a trap. Now let's look at it differently. Instead of $1, let's talk about a lot of money. Imagine that our friend Earth is a real super saver. Earth has a lot of cash. Earth puts $100,000 under a rock and leaves it there for a year. As before, let's say that the inflation rate is 2%. Now, after a year has gone by, inflation has cost Earth $2,000 in purchasing power. The original $100,000 has lost 2% of its value. $2,000 is serious money. Inflation is a trap. And if you can stand some more bad news, here it comes. Inflation probably isn't going to go to zero. The government likes inflation. That's right. The government likes inflation and works to control it, not to eliminate it. None of us can know the future. Any person that makes an investment should understand the risks of that investment. Even putting money in a jar or under a rock has risk. Inflation risk, risk of theft, risk of tornadoes, you name it. There are lots of risks involved in investing or even just putting your money in a jar under a rock. Good luck to all of us. If you like this content, then please click subscribe.